गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे अथातो ब्रह्म जिज्ञासा जन्माद्यस्य यतः शास्त्रयोनित्वात् तत्तु समन्वयात् ईक्षतेर्ना शब्दम् गौणश्चेन्नात्मशब्दान् तन्निष्ठस्य मोक्षोपदेशान् हेयत्व अवचनाच्च स्वाप्ययात् गतिसामान्यात् श्रुतत्वाच्च आनंदमयो अभ्यासात् विकार शब्दान्नेति चेन्न प्राचुर्यात् तद्धेतु व्यपदेशाच्च मान्त्रवर्णिकमेव च गीयते। नेतरोनुपपत्तेः भेदव्यपदेशाच्च कामाच्च नानुमानापेक्षा अस्मिन्नस्य च तद्योगं शास्ति। Up to this 19th sutra, we have seen how Brahma alone is the cause of this world and not the Prakriti or the Jiva, and how Brahma alone is the main topic of discussion in this Taittiriya as well as other Chandogya, etc. Now from here onwards another topic is taken. This topic is with reference to Chandogya Upanishad and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It is what is said in Taittiriya Upanishad. Same thing is said in Brihadaranyaka and Chandogya by using different words. Different words means words used in different context. For example, in Taittiriya Upanishad, we have seen Vijnanamaya was referring to the Jiva. But in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the same word, Vijnanamaya, is indicated as residing in the Hridayakasha. So, Vijnanamaya is the Antaratma residing in the Hridayakasha. Therefore, a doubt comes in our mind that whether this Vijnanamaya used in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad like the one used in Taittiriya Upanishad indicates Jivatma or Parabrahma. Similarly, in Chandogya Upanishad, the Hiranyamaya Purusha who is residing in the sun, whether reference is to the presiding deity of sun or reference is to Parabrahma Paramatma. And in this manner, these two words, whether they are referring to Jivatma or the Adhidaivik Purusha in the Surya, the sun, to indicate and analyze this particular doubt, 20th Sutra tells us, Antaha tad dharmopadeshat. Antaha, the one who is residing in the heart, the one who is sleeping in the heart, called as Vijnanamaya Purusha in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and the one indicated as residing in the sun, in the Surya Mandala, the Hiranyamaya Purusha, Tad Dharma Upadeshat. They are referring to the Parabrahma Paramatma and not anything else. Because in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the Vijnanamaya Purusha is referred like this: Sarvasya Vashi, Sarvasya Ishanaha, Sarvasya Adhipatihi, Esha Sarveshwaraha, Esha Bhutapalaha. So this Vijnanamaya referred in Brihadaranyaka is Sarvasya Vashihi. He is the controller of everything. Sarvasya Ishanaha, he is the ruler of everything. Sarvasya Adhivatihi, he is the king of everything. Sarveshwaraha, he is the overall in charge of everything. Esha Bhutapalaha, and he is the sustainer of the total world. Now this cannot be referring to the Jivatma. Therefore, although the word is Vijnanamaya, used in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, we should not have a blind application of the meaning of the words, and therefore these Brahma Sutras are meant for. That is why, unless there is a proper reference to context, our understanding will not be perfect. Similarly, in Chandogya Upanishad, it comes that this Hiranyamaya Purusha, staying in the heart of Lord Sun, is described as Sarvebhyaha Papabhyaha Uditaha, the one who is beyond and above all the sins. Now, beyond and above all the sins cannot be referred to the Adhidaivik Purusha, and therefore this is possible only with reference to Parabrahma. And therefore, any Jivatma, whether as a mortal in the Mrityu Lok, or a mortal in the Patala Lok, or anyone in the higher world. If you remember in our Kathopanishad, there the Yamaraj is also a Jiva, and he is instructing, and there he tells that when I was given a chance, I have out of my own ignorance opted for this Yamaraj Pada. Now unless this duty's assignment is complete, I can't go. So he is unable to merge with the Supreme unless this particular job is over. Therefore, it doesn't matter whether we are Jivatma with reference to the human body, or the lower arm life, or the higher life. Jivatma is Jivatma. And therefore, when the Hiranyamaya Purusha referred in the Surya Mandala, he is not referring to the Jivatma of a higher order, but referring to the Parabrahma. And therefore, in these two Upanishads, these two topics, Vijnanamaya and the Hiranyamaya Purusha referred in the Surya Mandal, they are referring to Parabrahma and not the Jivatma. To make this point firm further, another a reason is given in 21st Sutra. Bheda vyapadeshacha anyaha. Bheda vyapadeshat. Having described separately and differently Anyaha, the Hiranyamaya Purusha, which is indicated as Parabrahma Paramatma, is other than the presiding deity of sun. This is what is said in that particular Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. How the topic comes there? It is said, Yaha Aditya Tishthan Aditya Antaraha Adityat Antaraha Yam Adityo न वेद यस्य आदित्यः शरीरम य आदित्यम अंतरः यमयति एषः त आत्मा अंतर्यामी अमृतः. So यहाँ आदित्य तिष्ठन. Now here, how this Parabrahma is separated from the presiding deity of Lord Sun. So Yaha Aditya Tishthan, he who is residing in the Aditya, the sun. Adityat Antaraha, but he is inner, nearer or inside the Aditya, that is the Adhidaivik. Yam Adityaha na Veda. This Adhidaivik, Aditya sun, does not recognize the supreme reality. Yasya Adityaha Shariram. And the Supreme Brahman is expressing through this Aditya the sun, therefore the sun is his body. Ya Adityam Antaraha, and therefore he is the essence of the Aditya. Yamayati Eshaha, and he controls everything of this sun. And therefore Atma Antaryami Amritaha. So this Atma Tattva, this Paramatma is the Antaryami, and therefore in this mantra a very clear distinction is brought out, that what is mentioned as the Hiranyamaya Purusha in the Lord Sun is not referring to the presiding deity. Now this point kindly make it very clear to yourself. The truth is brought to our cognition through stages. Today after food, that one child came with me and she was talking very nice. Swamiji, I don't like to read anything lesser than Vedas. I said, very good. I told her, I also don't like eating anything lesser than vadas. And then she was talking very, abstract language. And then I want you to hear my opinions and views about what happens after death. So, and you correct me if I go wrong somewhere. The soul is wanting to reach Paramatma. Therefore, after death, the soul leaves the body and goes to Paramatma. I said, one question. Where is Paramatma? He is everywhere. Is he not in the dead body? If he is everywhere, yes, he has to be in dead body. So if he is in the dead body, why the soul is going all the way? He should remain in the dead body. Suddenly you are confusing me or what? I have come here to ask you questions and you are asking me questions. Anyway, then the soul goes to meet Paramatma. I said, the first hurdle you are not removing, and you are removing the soul every now and then. So, the knowledge is communicated step by step. He said, I don't like to read the preliminary books. I get bored. I want direct, nothing less. Therefore, these steps should be understood. First, we are lost in the world when we recognize the reality with reference to world. First step Second thing, if we recognize the reality with reference to the world, the reality will become only pratyaksha, objective, which is incomplete knowledge. Then what is the benefit of recognizing the reality in the world? And what is the meaning thereof? Transcending the limitations of names and forms. When we are able to function in this world without the limitations of names and forms, then we are nearer to the truth. Yet the truth remains objective. Therefore, the truth has to be recognized subjective. So we add one more word, Atma. The moment we add the word Atma, consciousness is associated. Then the question comes, this Atma is Paramatma Swarup. Only words. From this Atma the whole world has come out? No. When you recognize this Atma as Paramatma Swarup, then you have transcended the limitations of the Upadhi. And then only Brahmatmaikya Bodha takes place. Here also, when we are talking about Jivatma, whether with reference to the individual or that is Adhyatmic or with reference to Sun, Adhidaivik, what we are talking is only the conditioned consciousness, not the absolute consciousness. So there we have to first of all differentiate whether we are talking about a conditioned consciousness or the pure consciousness. This is what is meant in the sutra. Bheda vyapadeshacha anyaha. So there it is very distinctly brought out that this conditioned consciousness, the limited being, is unable to recognize the Supreme because he is preoccupied with the expression through the conditionings. And in this manner, what is meant by the Hiranyamaya Purusha in the sun, Aditya, and the Vijnanamaya Purusha in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, residing in the heart, they are not referring to Jivatma, but they are referring to Parabrahma, Paramatma. Anyway, we have not studied that, Swamiji, why will you worry us? Hereafter you go and study. The course is not over. Here we begin. So, up to this point, what is finally concluded is that the creation of this world, its sustenance and absorption, and the material out of which the world is created is Parabrahma Paramatma and not the Jivatma or the inert Prakriti. When this is said, another doubt is raised that in the Chandogya Upanishad, space, Akasha, is considered as the cause of this world. Then what is to be done? Therefore, whether the Akasha is referring to Brahman or the space, because Shabda Jalam Maharanya. Now this is explained in the 22nd Sutra. Akashaha Tallingat. In that chapter of Chandogya, Akashaha, this word Akasha, is referring to Parabrahma Paramatma. Why? Tallingat. Because Linga, the Lakshana, the attribute, the description which is given about this space is not applicable to this gross space. And therefore, the word Akasha is referring to Parabrahma Paramatma. See, today only, when I was talking on that Tripura Rahasya, there this topic comes. By the way, it has come here also. There, the teacher, Bhagavan Dattatreya, tells the disciple Parshuramji that if you want to contemplate on Paramatma and recognize, then try to understand that Paramatma is exactly like that of space and that you are. So first understand what is the meaning of being space and then experience that space you are. So what is the meaning of being space? Space is in and out. In space, there is no difference like in and out. Then space does not have shape. Space supports everything. But the space is not influenced by anything. In Bhagavad Gita, what comes? Nayanam chindanti shastrani nayanam dhati pavakaha na chainam kledayantyapaha na shosheti marutaha. These four Mahabhutas, they are unable to destroy Paramatma. And these four Mahabhutas are also unable to destroy the space. Further, this space is asanga, unattached to anything. The space, therefore, is the support of everything, nirguna, nirakara, etc. And if that space I am, what will be the difference between me and the space? I will become the conscious space. So, the Parabrahma Paramatma has to be recognized as the conscious space or Chidakash. So here also, Akashaha Talingat. By the word Akasha, what is meant is not the Bhutakash or the Chittakash, but the Chidakash is referred. Therefore, in this Chandogya, the description given is Sarvani va ha imani bhutani akashat eva samutpadyante akasham pratyastayanti akasho hi eva ebhyaha jayan akashaha parayanam. So all these bhutas, the five great elements and all the beings, they are necessarily born out of the space, Akash. I will use the word Akash, not space. They are all born out of the Akash. They are maintained and go back to the Akash. And Jayan Akashaha, and the Akasha is the supreme, superior than the most supreme, and therefore bigger than the biggest. And this Akasha alone is the supreme support. Now these descriptions, they cannot be attributed to this Bhutakash. And therefore, wherever this word Akasha is used, even when we contemplate on this one Akasha, the meditations become very subtle and effortless. In Bhutakash, the objects and the thoughts of the objects and the knowledge of the objects and the knower of the objects, they are all different from each other. This is Bhutakash. Then in case of Chittakash, the objects of the world, then the thoughts of the objects, then the knower of those world objects, the knowledge, all of them are made out of Chitta Vritti alone, the Chittakash. So in case of Bhutakash, the Artha and the Vritti, they are separate from each other. So Artha, Vritti and the illuminator of this Vritti, three, separate from each other. In case of Chittakash, Artha, object, and the Chitta Vritti, they are one and the same. And the illuminator is different from the Chitta Vritti. In case of Chidakash, the Artha, the Vritti, and the illuminator, all of them are merged in one. There it is total Abhedavastha. In case of Chittakash, it is Bheda Bhedavastha. And in case of the Bhutakash, it is Bhedavastha. So the differentiation is complete in case of Bhutakash. The differentiation is incomplete in case of Chittakash, and there is no differentiation in case of Chidakash. Therefore, Akashaha Tallingat. The word Akasha refers to that Paramatma and not this space. Gross space cannot be the cause of this world. Therefore, a question comes up, again with reference to Chandogya. Similarly, like the space, even prana is considered as the cause of this world. So, उनके प्राण पखेरु उड़ के चले गए. So that prana is referring to O2, or this prana is referring to Brahman. This is the question, and this is said in the 23rd sutra. Ataeva pranaha. Ataeva, and therefore, as we have seen in the last sutra, pranaha, prana, this word also refers to the Brahman. In Chandogya, where this topic comes, the mantra goes like this: Sarvani hava imani bhutani pranam eva abhisamvishanti pranam abhyujjihate. So, necessarily, all these beings are absorbed in the prana and they are born out of the prana. So, we can't say all the beings are born out of oxygen and they go back to the oxygen. No. Therefore, here, prana is referring to the Brahman and not the pranavayu or the prana apana jnana udana. And therefore, in these two Upanishads, the topics referring to this space and prana, they should be understood as referring to Brahman and not the gross space as well as the oxygen. Similarly, in this same Chandogya Upanishad, they have used the word Jyotihi or the Tejas. So, this Jyoti is considered to be the supreme abode of the total world. And the Jyoti is considered to be the substratum of everything and also residing in the heart of this Purusha. And therefore, this Jyoti should be considered as Parabrahma or should be considered as only the reflected light of consciousness, like the consciousness reflects as the Netra Jyoti. So Netra Jyoti is what? Netra Jyoti is the vision in the eye. So this Jyoti referred in the Chandogya is talking about this Parabrahma Paramatma or the reflected consciousness through the medium of Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, etc. This is the question. This is explained in the 24th Sutra. Jyotihi charanabhidhanat. Charana abhidhanat. Like we have seen in Mandukya Upanishad, these two words, abhidhana and abhidheya. What is abhidhana? Referring to the name. And abhidheya is referring to the object. So abhidheya is the form and abhidhana is the name. Don't change it the other way, conveniently. So, charana abhidhanat. These four forms are the four pada. Charana means pada. The whole Jyoti Prakaran in the Chandogya is explained with reference to the Chatushpada Atma, like Charana means pada. So, Charana abhidhanat. There are four Charana pad quarters are explained about this Jyoti. And therefore, wherever four legs are explained, it is a Brahman. So, the desk on which you are writing is Brahman. But the chair on which I am sitting is not Brahman. It has got Panchapad. So, the mantra which comes in Chandogya, Atha yadataha paro divo Jyotihi dipyate Vishwataha prušteshu sarvataha prušteshu anuttameshu uttameshu lokeshu idam vava tad yad idam asmin antaha purushe jyotihi. So, that which is above the Svargalok that Param Jyoti is shining. That which is seen in this whole world is also the same Jyoti. Then there is no superior world than this Jyoti Lok, and this Jyoti alone is shining in the supreme abode, and therefore the same Jyoti is the essence of every being. Asmin antaha purushe Jyoti. In this manner, when this topic of Jyoti comes, it cannot be with reference to this reflected light. It is not talking about the light versus the darkness. And therefore, here also, this Jyoti is talking about the Brahman and not about anything else. And after having described the total description, then again in the Chandogya, the mantra from our Purusha Sukta comes, Etavanasya Mahima Tato Jayagamsya Purushaham Padosya Sarva Bhutani Tripadasya Amritam Devi. So in this one pada, one charana, the whole world is existing. And the three pada or charana, they are Amrutasya Amritam Devi, Padosya Vishwa Bhutani. So all these beings are within the one pada, and the three pada are in the divine glory. Similar thought we have seen in our Mandukya also, wherein the four legs are referred about this Paramatma, Chatushpada Atma, and there when the Taijasa was referred to as the Jyoti, there also it refers to the Parabrahma Paramatma. And in this manner, we are not talking about the light which is enemy of darkness. No. Oh, Narayana. So, Prana, Jyoti, Akasha, all of them are referring to the Brahman. Now in Chandogya, another peculiar word comes, and it is difficult to accept that this word is also talking about the Brahman, and the word is Gayatri. So, normally when we talk about Gayatri, suddenly Gayatri Chanda comes in our mind, one of the meters in the Sanskrit poetry. So, whether that Gayatri is referring to the Gayatri mantra or the Gayatri Chanda or what? This is discussed in the 25th Sutra. Chandaha abhidhanan neti chenna तथा चेतोर्पणादि निगदान चेतोर्पण निगदान तथा ही दर्शनम छंदोभिधानान नेति चेन्न तथा चेतोर्पण निगदात तथा ही दर्शनम. If Chet Chandobhidhanat, this Gayatri, it is also described with four pada, four charana. Anybody will definitely take this Gayatri to be Chanda, Gayatri Chanda, meter. If this is what you are talking about, iti na, then your understanding of the word Gayatri in the Chandogya Upanishad in this particular chapter is wrong. We are not talking about the Gayatri mantra or the Gayatri Chanda. Tatha Chetaha Arpana Nigadat, because it is said that the Chetas, the Chitta, is ultimately surrendered in this Gayatri. Now, Chitta can be surrendered only in the Chit. Chittam Chitcha Vijaniyat. It cannot be surrendered into the Gayatri Chanda. Tathashi Darshanam. And so also, similar type of discussion is seen in other places. So, in the Chandogya Upanishad, this comes, Gayatri is everything. And thereafter, the Gayatri is everything is said. Then there is a description of the four pada. Nowhere it is said it is Brahman, but Gayatri is everything. And thereafter the discussion continues. So we may mistake that the Upanishad is talking about Gayatri Chanda or Gayatri Mantra. It is not. This is how the Devi or the Shakta, they talk about Paramatma as Shakti. The Ganapatyas, they talk about Parabrahma, Paramatma as Ganapati. The Sauryas, they talk about Paramatma as Surya. Vaishnavas talk about Paramatma as Narayana. And Shaivas talk about Paramatma as Shiva. So, whatever may be the names and the forms and description used, in whatever may be the text, we are not talking about a particular form limited. That goes to the Sampradaya. We are not talking about it. So also, in other places, in Udgita Brahmana, Pranava, these are the various supports through which the Parabrahma is indicated. Because the reality being subtler than the subtlest, it is very difficult for the average gross-minded person to comprehend the attributeless reality without any support. Therefore, as we have seen in Mandukya Upanishad, what we have seen, we have taken the four avasthas. And in that, Jagra, Sapna, Sushupti and the Turiya. And then we have seen the Vaishwanara, then Hiranyagarbha and the Pradnya or the Ishvara and the Brahma. Now, having explained this thing, then to make it more clear, we have taken Pranava. Then this Omkar Idagam Sarvam. And then again the Omkar was also broken into four parts. A, U, Ma and Amatra. Then we are tried to fix A with the Jagrat, U with the Sapna, Ma with the Sushupti Avastha and Amatra with the Parabrahma Paramatma. And in this manner, the truth is comprehended through these techniques. Therefore, the subtle reality is revealed through such techniques. Therefore, the Gayatri should be taken as indicating the Brahman and not the Gayatri Chanda. For this, some additional support is quoted. Bhutadi pada vyapadeshopapatteshchaivam Bhutadi pada vyapadesha upapattehe. In this mantra, Gayatri is referring to Brahman because the 1/4 of this Gayatri, there is one pada, is the cause of this total world, and the 3 pada are other, separate. This can refer only to the Brahman and not to the Gayatri Chanda. Therefore, what is said there, that this Gayatri is the Bhuta, then the Prithvi, then the Deha, Sharira, body, and the Hrudaya. So Gayatri is described with these 4 legs. Bhuta, Prithvi, Deha and Hrudaya. And after that, the whole glory is sung. And then it is indicated by the word Purusha. And then ultimately all of them are merged with this Gayatri, one pada. And then it was said that the 3 pada of this Gayatri, they are untouched by the creation. They are in their own glory. And in this manner, if you understand the total description, it fits with reference to the Chatushpada Atma as indicated in the Mandukya Upanishad. Therefore, the word Gayatri has to be understood in this context as the indicator of the Brahman and not anything else. So, one more doubt is raised to strengthen this particular understanding. Upadesha Bhedan Niti Chenna Ubhayasmin Api Avirodhat Chet Upadesha Bhedan, suppose we say that the instructions given are different and therefore the Gayatri Shabda should not be accepted as the indicator of Brahman. In this manner, if you argue, no, it is not true, because Ubhayasmin api avirodhat. Whatever may be the description given of Gayatri, whether with reference to the Gayatri mantra or in this particular text, there is no virodha, there is no difference. Because in the earlier mantra, when it was said, the three paths of the Gayatri, they are in the Divya Lok, and only one path is the one which is indicating this whole world, and then it is indicated by the word Jyoti. Therefore, there is no difference of any kind, it is only the method of descriptions are different, but both of them Jyoti said in the earlier text and the Gayatri said in the subsequent mantras, they are referring to the same Gayatri Vacha, Jyoti Vacha, Brahma alone, nothing else. Now, in the 23rd Sutra, where it was said, Ata evam prana, prana is indicating Brahman. But in Kaushitaki Upanishad, this Pratardhan goes to Indra and asks Indra, kindly instruct me. So Indra says, I am of the nature of knowledge and prana, and if you really want benefit of your longevity and immortality, do my upasana. In this manner, Indra talks about prana to be himself. Therefore, whether the word prana is referring to the Indra or Pranavayu or Jivatma or Brahman, and therefore this question is answered in the 28th Sutra. Pranaha tathanugamat. Pranaha, prana shabda, this word prana, tatha anugamat. When we see in what reference this word prana is used, we come to know that is prana shabda is used with reference to only the Brahman and not with reference to this Indra as an individual. The whole topic is there, it goes like this, that Pratardhan, he does the upasana of Indra and Indra appears. Then he says, what do you want? So he said, I want the Parama Purushartha to be attained. So when he asked for the Parama Purushartha moksha, because in his words, Pratardhan says, I do not know what to ask, kindly tell me what is the best thing for me. So naturally, best thing for everybody is Parama Purushartha moksha. It cannot be. Therefore, the teacher Indra tells him that there is nothing superior than the Brahma Jnana, and therefore there is no superior Upadesha other than the Brahma Jnana. And therefore he goes on telling ultimately that he who knows the Brahman, he alone attains Ananda Swarupa, immortality. And therefore he alone is Esha Sarveshwara, Esha Palakaha, Esha Adhipati, Ityadi. He is the controller, etc. about everything. When this is said, naturally, this Parabrahma, Paramatma alone is mentioned by that, and not the Pranavayu, Indra or the Jivatma who cannot fulfill all these things. Now when this is said, another doubt is said, and it is very clearly said that Indra is telling, do my upasana. Then why are you interpreting it in a different manner? So, Indra is also very powerful Devata, not just ordinary. He is also Devata, he is also young all the time, never becomes old, Ajara, Amara. Therefore, why not we understand straight away a topic is going on, Indra says, do my upasana, so do Indra upasana. Why bring the Brahman in between? So this topic is answered in the next 2-3 sutras, And with this, next three sutra, 29, 30 and 30, these first, thereafter we'll start the second part. So here we conclude today's talk. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.